Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, RFK Jr., Joe Rogan, Donald Trump. 10 years ago, what did they all have in common?
They're all on TV.
They're all Democrats.
All Democrats, yeah.
They're all Democrats.
Hello, this is JVL here with my best friend, Sarah Longwell, publisher of the Bulwark. Sarah, happy Friday. Great show with Sunny Bunch last week in my absence. It was good to hear that you read every single word that Sunny writes.
You know that that's sort of not true. But here's the thing. I read everything he writes when he's writing about a movie that I should see or not see. I especially, look. Okay. I can't deal with how emotionally you're taking this.
You don't need to defend it. You don't need to defend it. Can we talk about
He writes fewer words than you do. You write so many words.
Everybody writes fewer words than I do. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So I don't know the answer to this. I'm just trying to think through what the world looked like 4 years ago. But my sense is that there is more Democratic openness to Trump's nominees now than there was Republican openness to Biden's nominees 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's hard for me to remember. I'd have to go back and look, if Blinken...
Ted Cruz voted against every single one of Biden's nominees except for Austin.
Yeah.
And Biden's nominees, we should be perfectly clear, were all the most mainstream, qualified, normie types anybody could have asked for. Yes?
I think so. There's a couple I'm trying to remember, but the big ones, although I don't know about Mayorkas. He was one that got a lot of the ire ultimately. And I think really mishandled the border, but I don't remember what the actual argument was around his nomination.
Yeah. And again, maybe I'm misremembering this, but it feels to me like Democrats are more open to Trump's nominees than Republicans were to Biden's, even though the nominees, again, if you sort of grade them out like Trump nominees versus Biden nominees, the Trump nominees are just objectively insane and unqualified, and the Biden nominees were normal.
Yeah, but what did I just say to you? And this is something to keep in mind that I think is sort of interesting about the current dynamic. Tulsi Gabbard was a Democrat. She sat with Democrats. She caucused with Democrats, right? RFK Jr. was a Democrat. Was a Democrat who moved in Democratic circles, who maybe was donating to these. They probably met with him about climate shit. He was an institution, not institutional exactly, but quasi-related to a lot of Democratic stuff. So there's a group of sort of the more heterodox Democrats who find these choices, let's say they have some RFK curiosity.
Great. I'm all for it. As long as my kids can get vaccinated, that's all I care about. Everybody else, good luck. Right? The America we live in now is no longer a place where anyone can afford to try to protect anybody else. Right.
Okay.
Or just certainly to try to protect people who don't want to be protected.
All right. You are just it's too dark. It's too nihilistic. This isn't true.
It's a little Joker. Maybe I don't mean that. I don't know. Hard to think about it. Yesterday, we got news that both Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg have given $1 million to the Trump Inaugural Fund. This past summer, Donald Trump threatened to put Mark Zuckerberg in prison for the rest of his life.
That explains the donation.
So so I'm writing about this today. The presidential inaugural fund has long been the paying of tribute. And so it is no different than, a new king is inaugurated and all the lords and duchesses and dukes come to the castle and give him presents. You're just showing your fealty.
Sure.
And the reason is because it's essentially a big dark money hole. You give your money to the inaugural fund. The inaugural fund has to disclose the donors, but never has to disclose spending.
Wasn't there a big scandal around this the last time with Trump with the inaugural fund and the mismanagement of the money and who knows where it went?
Well, because if there is a surplus, Like if the inauguration costs $100 million, but you've collected $300 million, where does that $200 million go? And the answer is no one knows. It goes wherever you want it to go.
Sure.
So you could literally just funnel it back to Donald Trump's pockets. His innovation, though, is turning it from collecting tribute from your allies into a protection racket where you're shaking down your opponents.
Yeah.
And that's new. That is very much like, it's like the mob's sending guys door to door in the restaurant district saying, hey, you got a nice little establishment here. Be a shame if something happened to it. We can help make sure you don't got no fires or nothing.
Yeah.
Right? And what is wild about it is that Trump is not only doing it in broad daylight, but that the point of it is doing it in broad daylight.
Sure.
Because the point is to make sure everybody else knows if you pay up, you'll be okay. Right? Pay up and you'll be okay. And he's bulletproof. The Supreme Court has made him criminally immune from anything he does. He's got the support of 49.6% of the country or whatever. And so that's just the world we live in now. We live in a world where the federal government is explicitly run as a protection racket. Wow.
And you know what's crazy about this is it's possible this is best case scenario.
Yes. Yes.
Like, I don't know. It's like the kakistocracy, right? The oligarchy or whatever we're doing here. We're sort of the royal court pays for immunity from Trump, and Trump then doesn't go around prosecuting people, basically just lines his pockets. Everybody else gets a taste. People are super corrupt. Because I brought this up on the next level, but I've been thinking just a lot about how Trump's relative lame duckness impacts the psychology of people. And I think one of the ways is that people just think very short term about it. It's like, do what it takes to kind of get through the moment.
Got to get through the next year.
Got to get through the next year.
Next year. We can make it through 2025, then we'll have room to maneuver.
And everybody sort of they have this new understanding about the short-term memory of the American people and how overwhelmed the legal system is. Like if everybody's being corrupt, right? If Elon's being corrupt in broad daylight, then Zuckerberg wants to be corrupt in broad daylight.
Why not?
And so does Andreessen, and so does everybody else. And like, they just want to get rich, powerful.
That's what I'm saying. As long as you can get yours.
Yeah.
The American way. I want to push back against the short-term memory, though.
Okay.
Because it isn't that. So if the short-term memory were a thing, then Biden would have been in great shape because we've had more months of rising real wage growth than we had of inflation.
Hard disagree on this particular point.
Well, I mean, it's just true. Like you can disagree, but like the data is the data.
Yeah, that's fine. But hard disagree that then should have translated to a bunch of people being like, oh no, the economy under Joe Biden.
But this is what I'm saying. It's not short-term memory, right? Because here, like if they were all just operating on like nobody remembers anything unless it happened 5 minutes ago, well then they would have. But they didn't.
because
It's
there's still
memory.
the economy for them is still bad.
It's selective memory. It's a short-term thing
This is the way you
when they
want
want
to
it to
tell
be
voters
short-term,
how they are.
and it's a
These are voters who
long-term
live in
thing when they
JBL's
want it
head,
to
not
be
real
long-term.
voters.
I don't know. I feel like I heard from the real voters last week. Did you get any good feedback from that show?
No.
Come on.
Yes, of course. And no, you know what? Yes, people find you cathartic when you yell back at the voters. But I'm sorry, guys. That is like the yelling into the void stuff.
Yeah, I like the void. The void needs to hear what I have to think. Hey, Sarah, there's more show.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Are we still talking? We have more
Yeah,
talking?
we're still talking. The talking goes on, but that's only for the people who are inside the Velvet Rope, the Bulwark Plus members.
Oh, they got to subscribe.
Yeah. Tell them to subscribe. Tell the
You
people,
should subscribe,
Sarah.
guys. Why wouldn't you subscribe? You get all kinds of things. You get some extra me and JVL. You get some extra me and George Conway. You get JVL's Triad. This is one of the best things the Bulwark offers. I read it at least once or twice a week.
Yes. Go and subscribe. We'd love to have you.